Alright, ladies and gentlemen, Fab's in the house, and today I'm in the house with something nice. This is the Roe Knives Hostile Intent, and we're gonna analyze the look, the sound, and the feel of this guy. But hey, don't forget to like the video and to subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying this kind of content right over here. So let's see what do we have, guys. This is a very interesting one. It's not too big. Overall length is gonna be 7.5 inches with a almost 3-inch long cutting edge, say 2.8, and the handle is going to be around 4.3 inches in length. And let's just check it out up against a couple of knives that I think you guys know already. This is the Ontario Red number 2 and this is the Ontario Red number 1, and you're gonna see that this guy is just right in between these two options. And if you take the Benchmade bag out and the mini bag out right here, you'll see that this fella, it's just right about the same size, maybe just a little bit longer than the Benchmade bag out, so very, very comparable in size. But if you, for example, take something from Spyderco, this is the Paramilitary 2, and if you take the Para 3 like that, you're gonna notice that this guy is just a little bit longer than the Para 3, but the handle to blade ratio is better in this case. And maybe you've got something from Chris Reeve Knives, and this is gonna be your Chris Reeve Knives large Sebenza 21, or maybe you have a small Sebenza 21 and you want to know how this compares to that. Look at that, just a little bit bigger than that. So that means it's like a very, very EDCable size. If, like, for example, something like the large Sebenza, it feels like too big for you, or maybe you like Shirogorov like I do and you've got a Neon. This is the R20. So very, very comparable in size. And this is the also Shirogorov F95 Nudist Slim, and you can see that this is a big boy compared to that. I don't know, you want to see maybe a couple more just because we have them in the house, something popular here. This is the Koenig Knives Arius, and you can see that it's not a small guy, of course. And maybe another popular one, and also carbon fiber in this case. This is the Rick Inder XM18. That's a 3.5 inch long blade. So we just check the size of this fella. Let's just check what is this about? This is the Hostile Intent by Roe Knife. It's a very interesting carbon fiber liner lock and Damascus, basically, and titanium. These are the main ingredients, of course, S30V. But this is a nice recipe, guys. Look at this. You have some nice carbon fiber scales, which have a nice polish. I like this. See this finish right over here with some slight chamfer around, and then you got, of course, a matching scale on the back, and you have basically there's no internal chamfering, there's no internal skeletonization in these two titanium liners. Look at that. Maybe that's going to reflect into the weight. And you have, so an overall look that is nice. You see the lines, the proportions are respected. They are pretty pleasant to my eye, and you can actually see that there's no I mean, there's some basic milling. For example, over here you've got a nice Damascus back spacer, nice, and you see it's nicely rounded off, matching, of course, the Damascus pocket clip with some hidden hardware. You've got 2 screws on the inside to access this pretty cool clip. Of course, matching Damascus in both sides with these pretty cool pivot colors. Nice and flush. Absolutely, it's a pleasure just to rub and not be able to feel the difference in materials. Really, really cool. So in the handle main design, you don't really have any finger grooves right here. So you just have just a slight indentation with a little bit of a design issue, I would say, here, because it's this area here, it's not that wide for my thumb, for example, to do this movement and disengage the lock bar, but it's still doable, but it's borderline because a little bit widening, a little bit of chamfering here maybe would have improved this area by a lot. But overall, the general look when the knife is closed is it's nice and elegant and sleek, with nicely designed lines. So I appreciate that. Of course, yeah, I was saying you've got a Damascus backspacer, which is done really, really beautifully, and it's like protecting the tip of the blade, which is centered, and you're not going to be able to touch it, so absolutely safe, buried down there. You've got an interesting flipper tab design. There's not much chamfering, actually there's no chamfering going on and no jimping going on the flipper tab, and you're going to see that it's pretty good for both a light switch like that, or just like a push button like that. So very, very nice design. It doesn't it's not like edgy or like sharp or anything, so it's nicely done. So you can do comfortably push button and light switch, and it's going to be nicely deploying. So really, really cool. You've got also a very simple construction, just a couple screws for the scales to be attached to the liners, and which are going to require a T6 Torx bit, and this is going to be a T8 for your pivot to pop out and for you to be able to maintain this guy. It's very, very straightforward, no issues whatsoever. Just to notice that the pivot is protruding, it's not captive, and the screws for the scales are pretty much flush with the scale surface. So really, really interesting. There's no need for any stainless steel lock face insert here because there's no lock stick. Nice geometry. It's well put together. So there's no lock stick and no stainless steel lock face insert. You have, of course, this carbon fiber scale, which is going to act as a natural lock bar stabilizer. So very, very good. You've got a nicely designed pocket clip. Look at this. Beside these colors like the blue, the yellow, and the silver going on, which is a nice touch. You have a nice design. This is how much is going to be sticking out from your pocket. So that's a little bit. That's quite a bit, I mean. So you see, that's the amount that you're going to see. So it's not really deep carry, but it has hidden screws right over, like on the other side, which are going to contribute to keep clean the overall design of the lock side, which is something very, very nice to do. Of course, it's going to be tip-up carry only. It's not reversible. You cannot mount it on this side, so it's just maybe aimed at right-handed people. You've got a nice blade shape, I have to say. It's very attractive. You don't have any jimping. You've got an harpoon going on and a swedge, which is starting like kind of like in this unusual way, and then like drops and then just goes towards the tip, but intercepts basically the line of the primary bevel up to the tip right over here. So nice solution. And then you have like maybe 50% belly and straight edge up to the sharpening choil, which also acts as a finger choil. In fact, you can safely grip the knife like that, and it's nice. It's not chamfered, so it's something to notice. So it's gonna feel a little bit on the sharp side, but it's nothing too crazy. You can see the Roy logo on this side of the blade, nothing going on the other side, nothing going on the spine, but I can tell you, and also the card can tell you that this is S30V steel, and it's a flat grind, and it has a very interesting coating. Kind of looks like sandblasted to me. It has a nice edge, and it's pretty thin behind the edge. We can also just measure real quick in, let's do millimeters. How's the overall thickness? 3.25 millimeters, which is 0.1290 inches. And we can try to see how thin behind the edge this guy is. So that's zeroed. So this can vary, but it's, yeah, something like in the 0.0175 inches and 0.45 millimeters. So it's thin behind the edge. Actually, it widens pretty quickly because the height of the primary bevel, it's not that tall. It's not a full flat grind, but it's going to be a good slicer for sure. Something that I really like is like the sterile look of the blade, and with this subdued logo right here, it's nicely placed. Also, the sound is very interesting because this is a discrete one. Hear this. It's very quiet, inobtrusive, like it's very muffled, like mellow. It's soft, but sweet and rich and really and almost silent when you close it. It's a pleasure, guys. It's like a gentleman's modern folder kind of thing because it's so soft and subdued. Nobody is gonna get scared when you deploy this guy. So really, really cool. Let's just check the weight of this guy, of this one, because I was saying there's no internal skeletonization. I mean, it's carbon fiber and titanium, but also you've got some time masks here. That's 104 grams, which is going to be 3.67 ounces. So I mean, it's a decent weight. It's not too heavy in the pocket. When you squeeze the handle, you're gonna feel a nice sturdy sensation because this guy is put together really, really nicely. There's no hot spots whatsoever. I wish the overall handle would be like were like a little bit more chamfered and rounded off on this side. Especially here, it's not that bad, but you can see on this side it's a little bit on the sharp side, and so a little bit more 3D-ness to the handle would be really, really good. And basically my only gripe about this one is this area over here. So you have first of all, you have the end of the blade, like you can see here that it's sticking out a little bit, so it's not aligned with the handle, or at least like flush with the handle. So there's a little step right there, and that I think can be fixed easily. You see, there's no reason why this doesn't go all the way down, or like just a different cut. But mainly the issue here is that this area here suffers from a lack of room, at least for my thumb, to just get in comfortably and like disengaging the lock bar. So it's just a minor gripe that I have in this one, nothing too crazy, but I think that's some improvement, room for improvement, at least in that area. You have no jimping on the flipper tab, no jimping on the backspacer, on the spine, so it's pretty smooth overall. Also the texture is it feels like glassy and slippery, of course, because it's nicely kind of like almost polished. It's really smooth. So but fit and finish is outstanding because you can't really feel any burrs or any gaps. It's nicely put together. It's everything is like where it's supposed to be. It's there's no rattling when shaken. I mean, there's no lock stick here. There's no blade play, feels solid. And if you're gonna check the action on this guy, we're gonna be surprised because it's a little fella. Deploys with the, I would say like light, medium light detent, but it's effortlessly deploying with the light switch or like a push button, and that's very, very good. In fact, you can see that this is a wide tab, like at the right height, refer to the pivot, I mean. And then when you just close the knife and just a little wiggle, look at this, boom, it just closes. So really pleasant, guys. The action is it's classy. It's very, very good. Of course, you've got like free fall action as soon as you disengage the lock bar, and then you have just the slightest resistance. So you see it doesn't go down the blade, but just a little wiggle, just like the slightest wiggle, it just gets the blade just gliding close. So really pleasant action. right over here. So, I mean, this is a pretty cool looking knife. It's a nice solution for the gentlemen who want some premium materials in a folder and having a liner lock that's looking good with some luxurious materials employed that I mean, sounds amazing, has a great action. Could use a little bit of design improvement in that area, but overall it's absolutely a good choice. So there you have it. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to subscribe, and thanks for watching. Stay tuned.